Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a Friday. It's not a normal Friday, it's Virgin Galactic Fridays, and here on this channel we are talking about the events of the whole week for Virgin Galactic stock, and it's absolutely insane how much stuff happened just in the last couple of 7 days. We will talk about the space stock. We will talk about jobs at Virgin Galactic. They opened whole new jobs, which is interesting. Third, we will talk obviously about the NASA agreement. We will talk about a little bit of a technical analysis of the stock, and then we will dive into a very innovative bull ARK investment, what they have to do with Virgin Galactic stock, and what they think about hypersonic flights will absolutely blow your mind. So stay tuned, let's go. To watch this vlog, you don't need a $250,000 to $300,000 ticket, but I would like to ask you to absolutely smash and destroy the like button. Thank you very much. Let's continue with the space stock. SPCE is the ticker for our Virgin Galactic. And there was a very interesting thing. On Friday, we had already the news that NASA is working on something. Then the news broke on Monday morning, which then skyrocketed the stock. And you have to understand something. Small stocks and growth stocks are volatile, guys, okay? So at one day we will see 15% plus, at the other day 15% minus, and the other day 20% plus, and the other day 5% minus. This is totally normal, guys. Don't get freaked out, because those who get freaked out are actually the same guys that sold Bitcoin when it go from $3 to $10, right? So don't make this mistake. If you're thinking long term, you cannot make things so bad wrongly. I am talking about experience, because I lost by trying to get the right moment or going in and out after stocks moved heavily. I will not make these mistakes in the future, and I want you to save massive. If you just count the dollars that we can save together, it's definitely millions. So let's save those millions and invest further into space. And if you can see, obviously this was the most important day of the last 7 days. The stock gained about I think in the top about 15%, guys. This was obviously a short-term gain for the stock. Later on in this vlog we will talk about a little bit of technicals, so stay tuned. Are you currently looking for a job? Are you interested in the next big thing, which is space travel, hypersonic flights, and much more? Then maybe apply now at Virgin Galactic. Well, so, or just similar to that, looks the LinkedIn job page of Virgin Galactic. If you just study their page, then you see that they are looking for a GSE mechanic. They are looking for an aircraft life support equipment technician, an ANP technician, airframe and power plant mechanic, and a composite technician. All in New Mexico. So what does it actually mean, guys? So first of all, I believe that this is next step of getting more and more crew for a whole running of operations. This means that they are now at the stage where they feel, okay, now we can get more and more people on while we fixed or we develop the main core of our operations, which is bringing the aircraft to fly. Now we need people to maintenance it and do the interiors, life support technicians. We need to build this team, and as you can see, these are the steps necessary to finally start the operations. But this is not the most important part for Virgin Galactic. The short term is very important, that they show us that they can bring Virgin Galactic founder Richard Branson into the sky, and then this will be a huge fundamental stepping stone for the success of Virgin Galactic. And therefore I believe that also this shows us that step by step it's going the right way. A little bit of patience, guys. The Rome was not established in one day, and neither will be the space company or space tourism company of the future. And therefore wait a bit, but you will be rewarded very, very handsomely. The NASA agreement. The NASA agreement shoot the stock up 15%. Now, some people are saying it's a big deal, some people are saying it's a small deal. I'm the person who say that is a big deal. Now, because of a kind of couple of views on this. First, you need to understand what this agreement says. The agreement says that NASA want to have more and more commercial astronauts into space as experience, science, research, and so on and so forth. They want to use obviously the facilities, the knowledge, the know-how of existing commercial and private companies like, for example, Virgin Galactic. Now, they will pay them to make programs ready, to make astronauts, to prepare flights, to prepare training programs, and all of these things will be done by Virgin Galactic or companies such as Virgin Galactic. Now, this would be actually the same as the government would say, well, the National Road Authorization now announced they want to have more electric cars, and we are saying that Tesla should develop a program for that. This would be absolutely insanely huge, right? And this is the big part of it. I don't think, the program itself, the training, the extra flights will be the big needle mover, but it will be the PR and exposure, guys. As more and more people are going into space, doesn't matter if it's an experience, if it's to the ISS, if it's to research or develop something, the pure fact that more people will go to space will accelerate the 330 billion market that it is today much faster. There's some guidance that the space industry will be a $3 trillion market by the next 3 decades. I think this is a totally underestimated number. As always, humans are super bad in estimating numbers in markets, so I believe that those numbers are way too low. However, let's assume that. Moreover, I also did the research, astronauts training program costs about $15 million, and just until now there was just 500 people that got a training since the last 70 years. So as you can see, it's not a big deal for Virgin Galactic to have maybe 5 astronauts, 20 astronauts. It's just the PR that the overall space industry will be pushed to a whole new level, guys. And with more and more people interested to go for research, to create, experiences, this market will grow so much, and Virgin Galactic as first mover will have such a great and high competition barriers to enter for other companies that I think this is a big deal, guys. So nevertheless, the most important part for my personal view is when the first flight's going, because a company can be much distracted, and there I think Shamas, the chairman, is playing a very interesting role, because he said many times in many interviews that companies sometimes lose the focus on the main business, and the main business for VG should be the space tourism. So step by step they will take further steps, and I'm super convinced that they are very focused on what they are doing, and once we break through the first barrier, we will then take on some other additional income streams for this company, and hypersonic flights after that. And this NASA agreement is obviously positive for the whole development of space industry. So here we are at the year-to-date stock chart of space, the Virgin Galactic stock. And as you can see here, I drew a couple of trends already. So first of all, you see the overall trend that I believe we are still more or less intact, which is approximately this upper line. and this downline here. So as you can see, around the 9th of June, we exited this trend a little bit, but then jumped back in, couldn't hold it, and jumped below. However, I think there is another resistant line somewhere around here at 15, where the stock could bounce a lot against and then go up, and then it will be important if we can outbreak the $20 mark here. As you can see, a couple of times we resisted to go, and once we broke out here, for example, the stock went much higher. Here there was also 2 attempts over the last couple of weeks, and still they couldn't outbreak, so the stock went down and then traded in this channel over here. So as you can see, this is important to hold this channel, because other than that, if it goes further down, the next big resistant lines will be somewhere here in between 15 and 10, and this is where the stock, you know, was here for a long time. And then actually I think we should be able to trade within this area, you know, still pretty much good prices if you consider where we came from in terms of where we could go again. And then once we are in those lines, I already see the people saying, you know, I wish I would have bought more at 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, you know, but you know, this is always backward thinking. So make sure to be the future you, and make sure to load up some space stock if you're interested in the vision, in the company. If you're convinced about the concept that they are doing, I believe that those prices are still quite cheap, where the potential of this company can be in the next couple of years. If you're talking about ARK Invest, then you talk about Katie Wood. Now, Katie Wood is maybe one of a very famous person in the innovative and investment and growth stock investing, because she is the founder of ARK Invest, and she put out their news on CNBC, for example, putting a $15,000 stock price in the bull case of their analysis. Now, they also analyze the hypersonic flight business. They are moreover not only interested into that, but also invested into Virgin Galactic. How many shares and what is the reason and what is behind it, we will talk in a second. But first of all, you need to understand they published a very important research on the hypersonic flights. I will not go into very detail, but I will give you the shortcut, which was the following. So actually, this graphic is really summing it up. About 4.5 billion people are air travel flight users. Now, this is much less recently, but it's a general number, and it's, you know, obviously very, very growing over the last couple of years. Now, 15 of those flights are longer than 7 hours. Now, this is important because hypersonic flights will heavily reduce those 7 hours to a very, very small amount. Now, 680 million passengers flew on flights longer than 7 hours, and 0.4% was actually private planes. And why people are flying private planes? Private planes are really saving you money and giving you freedom. Okay, you can, for one side, decide when you want to go, but there's also people that really use this service because it's saving so much time. You don't have to be so early for flights. You can save a lot of checking and other things that you need to do for a normal flight or commercial flight, and therefore people are using it. And when those are now having the option of a hypersonic flight that reduce the hours from 7 to 3 or to 2.5, then obviously they will consider this. And this is then the potential market of 2.7 million persons annual people for flying the hypersonic flights by Virgin Galactic or other airlines like SpaceX, right? Now, let's talk about ARK Invest. If you go on their website, you see that, you know, they are all about innovation, robotics, AI, and the next future of everything. Okay, therefore Virgin Galactic fits totally in their portfolio. And if you're looking into this graphic, you see that they actually purchased some space stock. It's stock number 31, Virgin Galactic Holdings, and they have about 187,600, I think it's 88. However, it's about a $3 million investment into Virgin Galactic, so they are approximately owning 0.0857% of Virgin Galactic. So I believe that they will increase this number over time because it's still a very early stage investment. Moreover, you understand that this is a very brand new release. They are actually increasing this position at the ARK Autonomous Technology and Robotics ETF, and this is by the 23rd of June. So pretty new release here that they just added space stock.